Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, each and every week I try to bring people from all across the country to hang out with me and tell us cool things we can do right here in New Mexico. On this week's show, is it good for you to get a breath in a little more often each day? I got a chiropractor here to tell us why. It's all right here on New Mexico Rising. Discover a new perspective on midlife with Chip Connelly. You know, the best-selling author and founder of the world's first midlife wisdom school, MEA, which is now opening a new campus in Santa Fe, New Mexico. In his latest book, Learning to Love Midlife, 12 Reasons Why Life Gets Better with Age, Chip offers a refreshing take on aging and here to share how we can embrace life's later chapters with purpose and joy. We have Chip right here. Welcome to the show, Chip. How are you, bud?
Hey, Dan. Good to see you. I'm missing New Mexico right now. I'm in New York for the book launch.
All right, so what motivated you to write Learning to Love Midlife?
You know, I went through the worst of times and the best of times in midlife. I'm still in midlife at 63, I would say. Between 45 and 50, I had the most difficult time of my life. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And then I got through that and said, oh my God, I wish there were some schools or tools to help me through this. And then my 50s was my best decade of my life. I was asked by the young founders of Airbnb to become their modern elders, someone who is as curious as they were wise. And I enjoyed that very much. And so I decided to create MEA, the Modern Elder Academy, based upon my experience in my 40s and my 50s, because I really felt like nobody had helped to create a place for people to understand what's going on in midlife. And so our first campus was in Baja. We have 4,000 people from 47 countries who've come there to learn about how to navigate transitions, cultivate purpose, and own their wisdom. And now we're excited to be opening in April just north of Galisteo, just south of Lamy near Santa Fe, on a 2,600-acre regenerative horse ranch.
Oh, excellent. So what has been your midlife experience, and how have you kind of turned crisis into chrysalis?
Chrysalis. So chrysalis is basically the stage between caterpillar and butterfly. It's that transformational stage, but it's also dark and gooey and solitary. And for a lot of people, when they go into midlife, they feel like they're going into a cocoon and it's dark. And what I really wanted to do with this book is to help people to understand, actually, life gets better with age. And, you know, on the other side of the chrysalis is this idea of having a happier 50s, 60s, and 70s. And research shows, the U-curve of happiness research shows that generally speaking, people actually get happier starting around age 50 after a long, slow decline in their 20s, 30s, and 40s. And so long story short is that's how I ended up writing the book. And then I studied a bunch of other authors and academics like Becca Levy at Yale, who showed that when you shift your mindset on aging from a negative to a positive, you get 7.5 years of additional longevity. So our program is based upon that. The book is based upon that. But it's also based upon a lot of stories and personal anecdotes of people who are going through or have gone through midlife.
For anyone going through a transition in their life, what is one piece of advice that you'd probably give them?
Well, first of all, I think people having curiosity and openness to new experiences is positively correlated with having a great longer life. And so the question I would ask is, what is it that you know now or have done now that you wish you'd known or done 10 years ago? And 10 years from now, what will you regret if you don't learn it or do it now? Because anticipated regret is a form of wisdom. And learning how to become a beginner again, over and over again, is positively correlated with having a great life, especially later life.
So what do you want readers to actually take away from your book?
I want people to feel like this is a pro-aging, not an anti-aging message. We have a lot of anti-aging messages and products out there in the world, and yet not a whole lot of pro-aging messages. The subtitle of the book says it all, 12 Reasons Why Life Gets Better with Age. And I just wanted to make sure that people know what those reasons are.
So why did you create the world's first midlife wisdom school, and how can the audience learn more about it, especially here in New Mexico?
You can learn about it at meawisdom.com. And part of the reason we came to Santa Fe is because Santa Fe is a place full of enchantment and wisdom. And so that's why we did.
Chip Connelly, thanks for joining me this morning. One more time, where can we go for more information?
meawisdom.com or chipconnelly.com.
Thanks for joining me this morning, Chip.
Thank you.
For millions of Americans, the phrase New Year, New You represents some type of commitment to self-improvement. In fact, one recent survey shows half of millennials report losing weight as one of their New Year's resolutions. Family physicians are encouraging people to take a more holistic approach to health rather than only focusing on weight loss. Georgetown University Hospital family physician Dr. Latasha Perkins joins us today from Washington, D.C. to kind of explain. Good morning, Dr. Perkins. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good. How are you?
Doing all right. All right. For so long, the term New Year, New You, it's been associated with weight loss, but is really a number on a scale like the best indication for health?
It's not. Weight is not the only indicator of health. It's a part of the journey, but it is not the only indicator of how healthy someone is. We shouldn't ignore it because weight can tell us if there's some underlying issues, but that's not the only indicator of how healthy you are. We need to think about, are you exercising? Are you able to walk up a flight of stairs without getting short of breath? Are you sleeping through the night? Are you drinking water? Basic things that when people think of healthy, they should be doing is what we should be considering when we think about a new you during a new year.
Newer classes of drugs have always been like in the center of, I guess, diet trends for the past millennia. How can you or other family physicians advising, what do you advise to patients when it comes to weight loss drugs?
First, remember, family physicians, we counsel about weight loss. We're critical in that counseling. So don't leave the doctors out. Particularly with the newer drugs, you want to make sure that you have a doctor supervising or guiding your use of those drugs because they're not without risk. And there are also side effects that could be associated with it. So we need to make sure you're on the right medicine for you. And even if that medicine is indicated in you, because you may want to lose weight and don't need medication, even though there are people where it might be indicated. You maybe need to think about your blood pressure, which is something a family medicine doctor can help you manage, your cholesterol, your blood sugar, other things that may affect your weight or affect your health in general are what we want you to be thinking about. And because we're remembering that weight loss is not the only indicator of health. And just because that number is changing doesn't mean you're healthier.
And if people are interested in getting healthier or prioritizing that, what's the best way for them to go about setting some of these goals?
First, do that annual physical exam, the check-in exam for preventive care, just to see where you're at, knowing your numbers, understanding what's important for you, numbers like your cholesterol, your blood pressure, your blood sugar, your waist circumference, your body fat percentage. These are things that you need to know, and they can be the baseline. And together with your doctor, you can come up with a multi-pronged approach that's holistic for you as an individual. You can't look at what everyone else is doing because it might be something different that you need to be doing based on what we find in your health maintenance exam. So get a family physician to talk to, do that health maintenance exam, make sure there's no screenings or vaccines that you may need. And then from there, we can make a plan of small choices that can help you be healthier in a positive way.
So why is it important to keep up with those screenings? And if we do these screenings, which one should be the top priority ones to do?
It's important because there may be something acute that we can address really quickly that can make you feel healthy right away. And so doing that is important to know where your baseline is. And it depends on your age and your gender, what screenings you need to be doing, like a mammogram for women over 50, STD screening for any, sexually active adult or adolescent. And so it just really depends on the individual. That's why that relationship is so important. During this season, vaccines are important. It's not too late for a flu vaccine, COVID vaccine, understanding and making sure that you're shingles if you're over 55. So understanding what you need for your age and not thinking that you need to remember all of this. That's what we're here for. That's what doctors are here to do, to answer those questions for you. So get that checkup and talk to us.
Dr. Perkins, where can we go for more information about any of this?
FamilyDoctor.org is a great resource where you can focus on wellness, but also find a doctor in your area.
Dr. Latasha Perkins, thanks for joining me this morning.
You're welcome.
National Plan for Vacation Day is coming up at the end of this month, marking a time to think about your calendar as blank canvases. Celebrated annually, this day reminds people to take that personal time you have worked so hard to earn and relax and recharge by planning a vacation. There's more to a great trip than just the destination. You also got to consider the stay. So today we have lifestyle expert and seasoned traveler Kathy Buccio. She's here to join us all the way from Hilton Cancun, Macaribe. It's an all-inclusive resort, here to give us the best way to get the most out of our stay. Welcome to the show, Kathy. How are you?
Oh, thank you so much. That rolls off your tongue real nice there. I think you're ready to come here and practice, and practice that Spanish over here.
Okay, I'm trying, all right, my friend?
I know you are.
So what are kind of 3 of your favorite tips for booking a successful vacation for this year, at least?
Absolutely. Okay, we want to make the most of our vacation, Dan. So the first thing is we want to focus on our stay. Hilton is all about the stay, and you want one that has something for everyone. So whether you're traveling with family, friends, or maybe you're traveling by yourself, you want to recharge and you want to rest up, right? We have the all-inclusives. That's the solution because they have everything that you need. Number 2 on that list, we want to remove the stress. We don't like that word, especially when it comes to vacations, right? We want a worry-free way of planning, and that's where the all-inclusive really comes in. Everything is taken care of for you. So there's minimal planning, minimal effort. There's a lot of flexibility. And I love that Hilton takes it a step further, Dan. Let me show you my wristband. Not only is it my room key, but I love the technology because it has a QR code on one side and I can scan it and make all my dinner reservations. I can check out what's going on in the resort. Again, very easy. And third, and for me, the most important is we want dining options. So make sure your all-inclusive resort has great dining options. I haven't had to worry here at my Caribe. I've had an array of cuisine to choose from. I've done Mexican the first night. I had a great steak last night at Flama. Tonight, I'm heading for some Asian at Noriku. So you want to have a resort that has a little bit of everything, including casual options that you can enjoy on your stay.
And since you're often traveling and pretty much on the go all the time, what's one of the trends that you're seeing right now?
Well, I mean, it's no surprise. One of the trends I'm seeing is that people want to travel because they want to rest. And as you mentioned, you want to take that time off from work and you really want to go someplace like here, like my Caribe, and just literally lay by the beach and do absolutely nothing and have everything done for you, right? That sounds pretty good to me. And the all-inclusives have really gained popularity for that reason. You know, I think that there was a lot of misconceptions on what all-inclusives entail, maybe like a basic buffet, limited entertainment or options, and that's not the case anymore. I mean, we're looking at all-inclusives with an elevated experience. They've been reinvented, reimagined. So there is something for everyone. My stay here has been phenomenal, Dan. It's going to be a little bit hard for me to leave this. I'm not going to lie, but I've been able to enjoy the spa. I've been able to play bingo poolside. I've been able to sit with a book uninterrupted by the pool. If I was here with my kids, they'd be going straight to the kids club that they have here. But it has been such a dream because of the variety of options that I have.
All right, you totally got me sold on the all-inclusive part.
Right.
Yeah, I'm done. Where should we look for? How should we look for that in a resort? What are we looking for?
Okay, so when we look for in a resort, this is what we're trying to do. We want a resort that offers experiences and interests that really fit your personality or whoever it is that you're traveling with. When you look at a Hilton all-inclusive, I mean, you have everything from yoga, you have cooking classes, merengue dance lessons, you could even take a cocktail class. There are so many different options, but maybe you're the type of traveler who likes to unwind and maybe do some hydrotherapy at the spa, or maybe you like to take out a jet ski for a little bit of fun. That's what we want. We want those options. I mean, here in the resort, I've seen so many families, Dan, everything from toddlers to grandparents really enjoying everything a resort has to offer. And with a big family comes bigger rooms, right? We want a spacious room. We want to be able to have connecting rooms if you want to be able to do that. And we want to be able to plan these amazing vacations and experiences with our Hilton Honors Points. So that loyalty program is really huge in creating and curating a great experience like this.
Kathy Buccio, you are a traveling expert that, hey, I'm glad to have you on here kind of showing me the way in the inclusive way. Where can we go for more information? And also, where can we follow you on social media?
Well, Dan, first of all, you need to be here. This needs to be your next vacation, all-inclusive vacation. And your viewers, too, we need to find out at Hilton.com so you can plan your all-inclusive stay. And you can find me on Instagram at Kathy Buccio TV.
Kathy Buccio, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you.
You know, as we focus on health and wellness this new year, it's not rocket science to know there's a crucial connection between breathing and overall well-being. We all know that if you don't breathe, you die. But a full day of shallow, unfocused breaths may not be the best for you either. Are there ways to better our breathing practices and give yourself a little healthy boost throughout the day? Well, we have Dr. Steve Knopf from the Joint Chiropractic, a leader in chiropractic and mindful breathing practices. He's got some techniques and tips that could help our health and maybe enhance our day throughout the day. Dr. Knopf, welcome to the show, my friend.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right, so what is one of the best ways to start kind of like taking care of your health in 2024?
Yeah, so obviously it's January, start of a new year. Everyone is in the mode of making new resolutions. And I think where a lot of people think about starting new health and wellness goals is through diet or more exercise. And one of the most overlooked components is regular routine conscious breathing. It can have great impact to your overall health and wellness, from reducing anxiety. It can help decrease the effects of stress that we all have throughout our day. And it can even give you some much needed little energy boosts throughout your day.
So what are some like breathing exercises that we can incorporate into our daily routine?
Yeah, there's a couple of breathing exercises out there that we recommend. The first is called square breathing, where you picture a square. Each side has a time of 4 seconds. So you breathe in for 4 seconds, working up one side. You hold that breath, working across the top. You exhale, working down the other side for 4 seconds. And then you hold your exhale out on the bottom of the square. And then you just repeat that cycle. The other exercise that's really easy for beginners is called alternate nostril breathing, which is a bit of a mouthful, but is really common in yoga. It's where you block one side of your nose and you take big breaths through your nose. You then block the other side and repeat, taking some big breaths in. These are very easy breath exercises that you can incorporate into your day.
All right, so how does this like tie into chiropractic care?
That is the question that a lot of people have. And doing deep breathing can actually help relax and release a lot of muscle tension. So there's an immediate physical benefit to doing breathing exercises. Additionally, things like poor posture, tight muscles in your back and in your neck can actually limit how well you can breathe. So chiropractors will often adjust people. We restore motion back into the body so that your rib cage can move better and you get more from the breathing that you do.
All right, Dr. Steve Knopf, where can we go for more information about any of this, my friend?
For more information, very easy. You can visit thejoint.com.
Dr. Steve Knopf, thanks for joining me this morning, my friend.
Thank you.
There's one thing that can affect our day-to-day that has absolutely nothing we can have any control over, and that's the weather. Yep. 2024 is shaping up to be a year of wild and unpredictable weather patterns. Not only can it affect major business decisions, our health and safety could be affected too. You know, it could also lead us to wear a light jacket. Okay, I guess that wasn't the really dramatic ending I was expecting. But so find out why and find out more and why we're seeing more extreme weather events and how AI can fit in all of this. We got Dan Leonard, a senior meteorologist from the weather company, and IBM Business here to kind of let us know. Welcome to the show, Dan. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm doing great.
All right, weather. We talk about it at work. We talk about it at school. We got to find out what's going on with these like extreme weather events that are happening more and more. And essentially, what's going on with the weather, man?
That's simple. What's going on with the weather? So obviously, we've noticed it's a little bit more extreme than it used to be. And, you know, this is a question I get all the time. Hey, Dan, is this climate change? Is this something that we can expect a lot of going forward? I can't necessarily say this is caused by climate change, but what I can say is these kind of extreme wild events are more likely in climate change. So 2023, warmest year on record globally. But then look at our winter so far, broadly over the whole country, not just in New Mexico, pretty mild. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, mid-January, we get this massive Arctic outbreak. And then we're right back into the mild pattern after that. So you look at the data here and you think, wow, this is actually playing out sort of as we expect from a very basic fundamental meteorological standpoint. you add more heat energy to a system, you're going to get more dramatic weather. It's that simple. More energy means more amplifications of the jet stream. So your winters might be warmer overall, but they're going to be punctuated by these really extreme events each time the energy is able to be tapped into by the jet stream. So that's what happened this year. It happened last year, right around Christmas time. The South got super, super cold. And then it happened a year before that in February in Texas. After a really warm winter, you just get this 1 week of really extreme cold, freezes everybody's pipes. And I think going forward, that's kind of the theme we're going to have winter after winter, where you're warmer overall, but you still get these really intense, crazy cold snaps.
And thinking about the weather as like a consumer, how does it affect us in that way?
So that's interesting from a slightly different perspective. We deal with raw numbers a lot as meteorologists, right? We're geeky about statistics and numbers, but when it comes down to it, 55 degrees it's just a number. It doesn't actually mean anything. What's 55 degrees mean to somebody in Florida? It means you're breaking out the parkas, but up in New England, it means it's shorts and t-shirt weather. So when we crunch all that data, and we look at the analytics of it, you come up with some really interesting conclusions about how consumers react based on where they live, based on the time of year, and how the weather influences them in that case. So here's a kind of a funny example. Out in the West where you guys are, did you know that foggy days, that drives beer sales higher? For whatever reason, I don't know why, but that's what our numbers say. And that's the kind of data that a company like the Weather Company can culminate, and we sort of gather it, crunch the numbers, and say, hey, here's how consumers react when you have certain weather in this part of the country.
Well, that's kind of cool to know. As for like small businesses, and a lot of people that are like own small businesses watch this show, how can they plan and project or predict or kind of be or react accordingly whenever weather instances pop up?
Well, it's just that they need to plan. You see businesses all the time with a business model. They have a business plan. It's great. But where's their weather strategy? The climate's changing. That's undeniable. So businesses really need to be prepared in the future for these kind of extreme events. And the data is there. We're really good at forecasting now, not just in the short term, but weeks, months, seasons in advance. So it's important for these companies to sort of get a hold of that data and mitigate potential damages that could occur with extreme events. And how many times have you heard a company blame a bad quarter and their lackluster sales on an extreme weather event that they didn't see? This day and age, we really shouldn't have that anymore. A 7-day forecast now is just as accurate as a 3-day forecast was 40 years ago. So the technology continues to advance. We continue to get better at forecasting. So it's important for these businesses to use that good data and come up with a good weather strategy.
And I'm a big fan of the Weather Channel app on my phone. I use that all the time. I know there's a lot that's going behind the scenes and making it, like, what makes that app different? How do you guys work on that or how is that done?
Well, we're the biggest weather company in the world, so obviously we put a lot of pride into that app. So I'm glad that you like it because it's a lot of work, but we take pride in it. We have over 100 meteorologists on staff that go into working on the forecasts and making the forecast better. So in reality, it's a combination of technology and forecaster experience that goes into making the Weather Channel app. But at the end of the day, we're the most accurate weather app. It's been independently verified. I'm obviously biased here, but it doesn't matter what metric you look at. Independent analysis says that weather.com is usually at the very top of accuracy lists. So whenever somebody asks, hey, what's the best, most accurate weather app? Don't just use the native one that comes on the phone. That's not going to be great. Download the weather.com app. It will be more accurate, I promise.
And Back to the Future 2, Doc Brown said, if only the post office could be as efficient as a weather service. Is that coming true because of AI and all that stuff?
It's getting there. It's getting there. AI is just one tool in the toolkit that we have. So in the sense of weather, the way AI works, I know it's kind of a buzzword and everybody has to use it, but we've had machine learning for a long time. And what we're doing is we're applying to certain patterns. And so the AI will look and say, hey, wait, this pattern has happened X number of times over the years that we've noticed. And even though the computer models are saying one thing, you might want to consider actually tweaking the data and moving the forecast in this other direction based on historical evidence. And AI is able to actually do that better than humans could because it can crunch numbers so efficiently. So just another tool in the toolkit that we use to put together a great forecast.
Okay, where can we go for more information about any of this?
just download the Weather Channel app or actually go to weather.com too. It's the same great data.
Dan Ledner, thanks for joining me once again.
Absolutely.
Back for its third and final season, La Brea follows the Harris family as they've fallen into a sinkhole at the La Brea tar pits that pretty much has them lost in a land 10,000 years BC. So will the Harris family return home, or will life continue to be the pits? All right, today we have Chike Okonkwo here to get us caught up with season 2, and hopefully we'll get some spoilers of season 3. Welcome to the show, Chike. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for having me.
All right, Chike, can you share with us your journey in bringing the character Dr. Ty Coleman to life? How have you evolved along with him over the seasons?
The great thing for me as an actor for this job was that when we find Ty at the beginning of season 1, he's at the lowest point in his life. He has lost his purpose. He's lost all sense of desire to be living. And so along the journey, like you say, fall into this sinkhole, and you think life would be the pits then, but actually it starts to get better for Ty. He starts to evolve and find a purpose, and he finds love. So there's plenty of things that have been happening for him over seasons 1 and 2. But season 3 for Ty, I can spill this, is really about wanting to make sure his friends, his new friends in this new world are okay. And he wants to make sure that they can all be together as a family, the Harris family, but also that the rest of the guys can get back to Los Angeles. So that's really the thrust of season 3, trying to make sure that everyone can get home.
Looking back at filming La Brea, do you have any other favorite or memorable moments on set that you could share with us?
We filmed this show from beginning to end in Australia. So to get to travel with work, especially when we started during the pandemic, was just such a blessing. And it's been a real adventure, genuinely. Most of what you see on camera is what we filmed in. You know, we're out in the wilderness, in the middle of nowhere in Australia, and all the creatures and critters that come along with that. But it's genuinely a joyful part of the job to be able to see the world in the way that we have on this show. And I know the viewers have really enjoyed that as well, that aspect, because it's not just, a studio or a location that we might be familiar with. It's 10,000 BC, and how we've brought that to life has been a really exciting part of the show.
All right, so as La Brea comes to a close, what's next for you? Are there any new projects or roles that you're excited about?
I'm excited just to be back out there in the world, and we've been doing this show for such a long time. We had COVID and a strike thrown in as well, so it's nice to be coming into 2024 with sort of open landscape. I've got a few things on the burners, so hopefully some of those get to screen sooner than later.
All right, check out La Brea's third and final season Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on NBC, and it's available to stream the next day on Peacock. Thanks for joining me, Chike.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
And that's it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and hanging out with me. If you want to be on the show, all you got to do is email me. That's newmexicorising@gmail.com. Go to our website. That's newmexicorising.com. Or follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Just look up New Mexico Rising TV. Till next week, that was New Mexico Rising.
Transform ordinary moments into extraordinary memories with our magical succulent bar. Whether it's a quiet moment of reflection or a first date, let the enchantment of nature enhance every occasion. Radiate positivity and create manifestations while making your very own magical succulent. Embrace the magic at Zinkstown, where we bring positivity to any occasion.